Yo, Adam,
Yes, Jeff.
there was this game I was playing on my PS4. I'm not going to tell you what game it is, but the game itself, the story was awesome, right?
Okay.
The mission, the way they designed the quests and the missions in the game was pretty cool. Pretty cool. The
It's not like out of
actual
a drop-down box. It's like out of like
no,
you're talking to a person.
it was very creative. It was very
Okay.
immersive. The graphics were off the chain.
Okay.
And it was like the nth game in a series. So it wasn't like the first one. This was like such and such 7 or 5 or whatever, right?
Oh,
So there
Call
were,
of Duty.
so it was no, it was definitely not Call of Duty, and everything on it was awesome, except that in the menu it had this sound that I didn't like. So the game I gave the game a 2 out of 10 in my review.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Because, if they don't get everything perfect the exact way that you like it, regardless of whoever else is enjoying it, if you don't like it, that game must suck.
Not only does it suck, but the company that developed the game, they're going bankrupt, I bet you, next year because they completely ruined the franchise. That menu sound is ridiculous. Flippity flarn.
Yeah, well, you can't help but, if you don't 100% agree with every creative decision made in anything from movies, video games, or anything else, that must die in a fire because there's no creative, you know, not recovery, but um, what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, there's no bouncing back. There's no redemption.
Redemption, yeah, creative. There's no creative redemption. That's the thing.
Yeah.
There's no creative redemption, for so many things being amazing, and then one thing being that's even then that's kind of minor. It ruins the whole thing. Like someone should have caught that, But
We did an episode a little while back where you gave me kind of a rundown of, and I only bring this up because you just started playing it, of what happened with the Warcraft 3 debacle. And,
oh yeah.
And
Warcraft 3 Reforged.
so now that you've, I don't know how far have you gotten into it?
Okay, so I started playing it this last weekend, which for the sake of everything is like the first couple of days of April. I figured I'd give it until April Fool's Day and then be like, all right, let me see if they
Joke's
care of
over.
anything. And there were a ton of original issues that were a problem with it, but they came out and apologized, and they said that they understood where fans were coming from, like completely bending the knee to like everyone that complained, which if any of the things that actually happened, which I didn't experience, then yeah, they should apologize. But like I went into the game this weekend and I played through, and so you have the prologue, which is the orcs finding their way to get into some boats and cross the sea. Then you have the human campaign, where you have the fall of Arthas, and the siege of or the scourge of Lordaeron. And then you have the undead campaign, which is basically Arthas becoming a Death Knight and then like doing the will of the demons to invade the planet. And then there's the orc campaign, which is the orcs after they've crossed the ocean and they're trying to figure out what this whole deal is. And you meet Medivh to try and figure out, hey, yeah, the demons are trying to invade. Everyone's got to band together to save the planet. And I've finished that campaign, and there is a lot of merit to what they did. They revamped it. It works on current, PC systems. It looks. I'll say this: the units were all redone and they look amazing. The maps, but I mean, it's dirt or grass. Like it doesn't need to look 100% immaculate, but the units look really good. And a lot of the cutscenes they've kept either the same. So like there's this Blizzard has this thing of doing, like, they have the in-game cutscene, which is like the characters that you play with, all the time. Like, you're moving the units around and it's just a zoom in on them. And then they have a thing where they cut to, and it's like a highly animated, computer generated, like full motion cutscene. Those cutscenes, the full motion generated ones, are pretty much the same. They look like they've been polished and cleaned up, like, a little bit, but
maybe up the resolution a bit.
Yeah, but like textures and stuff, they're mostly the same. The units themselves look great, and they've altered some of the interactions, because it used to be just a figure standing one place and then some dialogue at the bottom and then a figure standing in another place. And for the most part, that hasn't changed a whole lot, but there's a couple of crucial scenes that have happened throughout the game where some things have been updated. So, like, in the original, when Arthas takes Frostmourne and then slays his friend Moradin, it's just, he grabs it and then he walks over, and then it's like one plop, blop, and that's it. It's done. But this one, like, he takes it, and he sticks it like into the earth, and you can see him twist the sword and then pull it back out, and you're like, oh, that wasn't in the original, definitely. So they've upped some stuff, but I haven't experienced any of the original problems that they've had where, games are crashing on launch and that kind of a thing. So, granted, if it came out and did the things that they were saying it was doing, yeah, it needed to, maybe should have taken a little more time to polish it. But I also understand where we were at the fact, because I had that thing on order for damn near a year and a half before it came out, and they were like, yeah, releasing in 6 months, and I'm like, no, didn't happen.
No.
So,
well, the reason I ask is because I hear a lot of Company X is doomed, is dead, and they're not the same as they were. The stuff sucks canceled. That they put out. They're
shut down.
Yeah, they should get rid of this. And Blizzard is one of those, especially when they, now that they're with Activision, is one of those that you put in the mix. Definitely. I mean, there are companies out there like Ubisoft that get a lot of hate. And I just wonder, like, is it hyperbole? Is it overblown? I mean, I love Assassin's Creed. A lot of people don't. And
is that your nth in the franchise? Did you just blow the lid off?
No,
your secret game you were playing?
The secret game actually didn't exist. I was pulling it out of my ass. But
okay.
But Assassin's Creed is a good example, because, like, is there an Assassin's Creed game that I'm like, oh, this is the best game ever? No, they're all about a 7 or an 8. But does that mean that Ubisoft sucks because of it? Like, there are games on, like, I played Unity recently, and I got the same thing as you did with Warcraft, that I didn't. Apparently, when Assassin's Creed Unity came out at launch, it was unfrickin' playable and full of bugs. And now I'm playing it, and I didn't have any issues at all whatsoever.
Well, and I mean, like, especially with things that, like, have, like, downloads and can be updated online and whatnot. Like, I mean, they should, if there is, like, a glaring problem, they should be looked at and it should be fixed. But I mean, does a company deserve to die because of that? Like, not necessarily.
The biggest one, because, well, the biggest one that comes to me that almost offends me is, and it was back-to-back games. It's Battlefront 2 and Shadow of War.
Yeah.
And those two games got, like, demolished for no reason. I mean, for a reason, but it was like the reaction was so not
overwhelmingly negative.
Yeah, it was not proportionate to what the game actually did, especially with Shadow of War.
It's the level of what the problem is as opposed to how it would affect your direct gameplay. Now, like with the Warcraft 3 complaints where it's like, oh yeah, you start a mission and it says defeated and you didn't even get to play. Like,
fuck that. That's
obviously
bad.
an issue. But like, oh, I don't want the opportunity to buy loot boxes at all. And I'm like, well, you could just not buy loot boxes. But like, so which was I think the Shadow of War thing. It was like, look, they're there to do stuff if you want to do it. They're not necessary to the game. You're not required to interact, touch, look at them if you don't want to. The thing I think the problem with Battlefront 2 was that was how you got like everything, almost everything in the game was like I haven't played it. I've been tempted to buy it recently, but like, I mean, I also I don't have a PlayStation 4 and Xbox. I'm a PC only kind of a person, and I don't know how the market is because it's mainly an online only game. Like, because it's multiplayer, I don't know what the multiplayer life is right now. Like, I know on PlayStation and Xbox it's still pretty healthy.
Yeah.
Where on PC, I don't know.
I couldn't speak to it either. What I will say is, at launch, the balancing for leveling in that game for you to be able to get enough of whatever currency you needed to unlock things was out of whack. That got adjusted and the complaining didn't stop. And it didn't stop to the point that the game was almost neutered for a while where you couldn't do anything because they got rid of everything in the game. As far as loot boxes, as far as like a lot of the leveling was like squirrely, like it was just confusing. And then they brought stuff back and it's like, well, it's there, but I don't know what game this is anymore. It's still fun to play.
Do you think it's because the haters gave up and found something new to hate?
There's always something. There's always something to hate. And, you know...
But, like, Battlefront 2, like, lost focus. Now it's, you know, Condoleezza Rice or Trump or... whatever it is. Like, yeah, they found a new thing to, like, go and scream at.
Rise of Skywalker.
Well, yeah. Well, that Battlefront 2 came out with Last Jedi, right?
Yeah, and so I'll tell you,
that was probably the thing they went and screamed at. Is they instead of screaming at EA over this, they started screaming at LucasArts for the movie.
Well, I was at Star Wars Celebration when the trailer for that came out, and I'm going to tell you, just seeing Death Star 2 blow up from Endor and having Imperial troops like take their helmet off and be like, what the fuck just happened? Yeah. That was worth it. And seeing that in game and going through that whole mission span is worth it just off tops. That's worth the $60 right there.
Okay. Well, isn't that like mission 2?
Well, there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens through that, and then you get to play as Luke Skywalker, and then
of course, I've only seen up to that point. So
yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of
that at your place.
It's not a huge. Oh, wait a minute. Let's take a step back. Welcome to the End of a Species podcast.
The End of a Species podcast, where we introduce ourselves whenever we feel like.
Yeah, and we practice social. Like, how far are we? If I looked on a map, we're a few. Quite a bit apart because of.
No, we are.
Coronavirus.
We're sequestered.
Yeah,
we're probably
in our respective bunkers.
11 miles would be about right, somewhere around in there.
Okay, so I couldn't throw a football at you.
No, I mean you could, but I don't know that you'd get it here. I mean, if you could, that's amazing.
That'd be like a couple of Brett Favre's, but yeah. So we're practicing good quarantining and social distancing, and my watch is telling me that I need to try something again. But yeah, this episode we wanted to talk. I mean, it's been a long time coming. We did a whole episode on cancel culture, and we wanted to hit another kind of like just hater culture in general. And we're talking about video games right now, but we may do additional episodes talking about hater culture in pop culture, like in music and movies. There's a lot of it going around.
And some of it is warranted, but some of it comes out before the thing even actually happens. Like they're like, and I'll use this as my case in point. The Ghostbusters movie that was the all-female cast.
Okay.
I know didn't do it very well. But I think there were people like making bets on that thing failing, and we're just hating on that since it got announced. They're like, "Oh, you're ruining the franchise. You're ruining this. You're ruining that. Whatever." And they're hating on it just to hate on it. But I was like, "Well, I like Ghostbusters. I'll wait till it comes out to see if it's any good." And then it came out, and I still never saw it. Mainly because everyone that critics reviews and everything, like it sank, like it was supposed to be terrible.
Well, I'll tell you this.
I think something similar happened with the last Fantastic Four movie as well.
Okay.
So like, that's the one I know you hated. You saw it. I didn't see it.
Okay, so I'll get to the Fantastic Four one, because I'm triggered. But on paper, the all-female Ghostbusters movie, if you're talking about like Kate McKinnon, Melissa McCarthy? Melissa McCarthy,
yeah,
Kristen Wiig,
pull it up right now.
And those are all like Leslie Jones. Those are comedic powerhouses.
Yeah, they're all making an excellent career in Saturday Night Live and whatnot. Right?
Yeah, along with the original cast of Ghostbusters, all making, minus Harold Ramis, rest in peace, making cameos. On paper, that should be exciting.
It should be.
In practice, that movie was like 7,000 pounds of donkey shit in a 3-pound bag, and it just overflowed on your face. It was bad. As far as
I still haven't seen it. I'm waiting for it to be like a Netflix free. Like I'm paying for Netflix anyway, and like we're all sequestered now. Like what else did I got but time? Like
by the end of that movie, I just remember saying to myself, they dragged Ernie Hudson into this. Why did they get him out of bed for this? Like, let him do whatever he was doing. But as far as the Fantastic Four movie goes, one thing that you guys need to understand about Adam is that he hates spoilers. Adam, you go into media blackout like that. I don't know that you've seen the trailer for the last 2 Star Wars movies yet.
Rise of Skywalker, no, I still haven't seen it because now the movie's out on digital and Blu-ray, and like who needs, like I've seen the movie, who needs it, the trailer. But I saw the trailer, and this is one of the times when I started turning like hard. Is like I'm gonna avoid trailers for most of this, and then there was one trailer for Rise of Skywalker that just or not Rise of Skywalker, The Last Jedi, that happened to be on television, and it shows
I remember that
stuff. And then like I think we were probably in the same room when it happened.
No, I think we called each other right afterwards.
Yeah. So, but like there's a scuffle, and then like you see Kylo Ren's lightsaber get pulled, and then Rey grabs it and turns it on, and then 2 Praetorian guards turn on their like vibro swords or whatever they're called, and I was like, why do you show that in the trailer? Let that be a surprise. Yeah. You've got to like have some things that surprises the audience. Like I mean, like I know you're trying to entice people to come see it, but even then, and I compare that particular instance to this particular instance. I'll let you say, because they're both Star Wars related, and I think it works out great. So she has that lightsaber in her hand. All of 9 seconds, 8 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Like she grabs it, there's something said, she charges, she gets pushed, and it gets knocked out of her hand, and it's done.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, but you're thinking like, oh, that's good. She's gonna have a fight with where she's using Kylo Ren's lightsaber, and I contribute that to the trailer for Episode 2, The Attack of the Clones, because it seems like a thing that was entered into the movie just to be put it into the trailer because it carries no weight with it whatsoever. And that moment that was in the Episode 2 trailer is Luke Skywalker battling Count Dooku, and he's got two lightsabers.
Oh, Anakin.
And he's doing I'm sorry, yeah. Anakin's battling Count Dooku, and he's got two lightsabers, and he does that like spin move or whatever, and click, and then it's that quick, and then it cuts out from the trailer, and you're like, oh my god, he's gonna be fighting, and that's like the entire time that was in the trailer is the entire time he has two lightsabers. And it's just something to be put in there just to entice you to get into the theater, and I feel like that's what that was. So,
well, to bring it back to the spoiler thing,
right? Yeah,
I saw the Fantastic Four movie. Like my wife was traveling. I think it came on HBO or something, and it was very early in the morning. I couldn't sleep. I turned it on, watched the whole thing. The whole time I'm watching it, I'm just thinking, what the? And the first thing I did was I called you up and I said, and I just described the whole movie to you. Like, this is what happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. I only did that so you don't watch this fucking movie. Because it's horrible. Friends do not let friends watch this goddamn movie. And it was pretty bad. But it was the third bite at the apple. Like, okay, now of course they're going to get it right this time. No, absolutely not. However, having said that, if the Fantastic Four was to, now that it's back home,
it's returned home.
I'm still not. I'm gonna at least give a Fantastic Four movie a chance before I start like
pooping on it,
proclaiming it to be the end of Marvel, and they don't know how to make movies anymore. No, it just give it a shot first. Like, give it a moment.
The fact that they haven't completely like canceled those comic books and canceled that everything from Fantastic Four after a couple of these last ones are like, it's impressive. It's very forgiving. But here's the other thing: is like nerds have a long long memory.
Yeah,
like they remember being hurt.
That's true.
And they're gonna have to overcome this series of negative Fantastic Four movies. Like pretty hardcore. And I think what they're gonna do, I'll be wrong, but I think what they think they're gonna do is they're gonna do a soft introduction in another beloved franchise where like it's like, hey, here's the Fantastic Four just showed up, like they're doing a thing, like, or there's like a mention of them, or there's like a thing, because they're already kind of building it up because Stark sold Stark Tower, and now it might become the Fantastic Four Tower,
like Baxter Buildings,
the Baxter Building, like it might be this whole new thing that they're doing. So like they might be working an angle, but anyway.
I think a lot of
why hate this movie before it even comes out is what I'm saying. Like,
where I think a lot of this hate comes from is that incorrectly a lot of fans assume that the money that they put toward purchasing whatever from a franchise or whatever trinket toy or comic book or whatever, it's like they think that transaction is a stock purchase as opposed to it just being you purchased a product. And so they therefore and it's true, like that there's this feeling of ownership over whatever it is. So when it doesn't come out the way you expected or you wanted it to, and oftentimes it's not even like that the quality is bad. It's that, like, going through the whole Star Wars thing, it's the story didn't go.
What happened with Star Wars?
Yeah, the story didn't go the way I thought it should go, and you know, you can argue semantics of I wouldn't have taken the character that way. That's a different thing
Which
from
is my
saying,
biggest argument.
yeah.
That's my argument. Is that Luke's? I have no ownership of Luke Skywalker. I will say that I do own Disney stock, but
As you
I
should
own,
all.
yeah, but I don't own anything of Luke Skywalker of telling them like this is where you need to take this character. But knowing human interaction and how people act and perceive to act, and how, you know, when you get a guy in his 50s, it's hard to like get him to change his mind or deviate from a course or whatever unless something tragic happens, which something tragic did happen, but like would it have caused him to do what it is that he did during episode 8?
But you see how you're saying that?
But
That's a
maybe.
much more nuanced critique than to say J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy ruined everything that George Lucas worked for in the past 40 years. They literally destroyed it. It's like, you know what? I don't agree that Luke would have probably, I don't see how he would have gotten to that point. But okay, I'm still going to watch, and, you know, I still love
I still own the movie.
The franchise.
I own the movie after it came out, you know, and I saw it a couple of times in theaters, and then came out on Blu-ray, and I bought it. I was like, okay, I still own it, and I'm still, you know, look, I've still watched it and whatever. I've watched it within the last 2 months, 3 months, something recently, you know. And I can enjoy those.
You know who fans the flames of this too is content creators. I don't want to call anybody out specifically, but there are content creators out there, specifically YouTubers.
Where it's like if your job title is influencer.
Yeah, because
I influence things, and I'm like, you're 19 years old. You can't influence shit because you ain't experienced shit. Like,
I mean, you can, but you're influencing it like lemmings. Right off but here's where, like, I just remember scrolling through and seeing in my feed something that said like the downfall of Rockstar, why Grand Theft Auto 4 is better than Grand Theft Auto 5. Meanwhile, Rockstar, literally, like, me personally, I also
they're still making money off Grand Theft Auto 5, right?
Let me okay.
Like,
I prefer the story.
Tell me your story. Yeah.
I prefer the story in Grand Theft Auto 4 to the story in Grand Theft Auto 5. But nothing is going to change the fact that Rockstar is literally printing. Like, if I don't know what the actual number is, but if I had to say for the past, since Grand Theft Auto Online launched, if I had to say a number, it's a double-digit number, the percent of profits from the industry that Rockstar is taking off of that game alone. They are literally their own GDP off of Grand Theft Auto 5. Not Red Dead Redemption 2, which is a game that I love and I'm going to play 70 times because it's awesome. But just today, you go on Twitch and there are people throwing money into Grand Theft Auto 5 while they're streaming to get more of whatever it is that they want. More, what is it, Shark Dollars or whatever? I don't play Grand Theft Auto Online. I love Grand Theft Auto 5. I love Grand Theft Auto 4, but I'm not giving Rockstar my money. That's not to say that Rockstar needs to go away. More power to you if you enjoy, because what you're doing is basically almost paying a subscription. Like, you're paying $20 to get Shark cards or whatever.
Yeah, you get your monthly allotment when your subscription renews.
But this person unironically said the downfall of Rockstar. Rockstar is at a level right now that they could do nothing for the next 20 years, and they're still in the black. And just pay their developers for eating sandwiches or whatever the fuck, just sitting around doing nothing.
Red Dead Redemption 2 came out after Grand Theft Auto 5, right?
Like 5 years, yeah.
Okay, so like they're still putting out like critically acclaimed games, because Red Dead Redemption 2 like got mad reviews, like really good, like love and style and graphics and art and feel and
we
the whole nine.
let me put it this way. We haven't really done it yet, but if we ever get around to the games of the decade, Red Dead Redemption 2 came out in 2018, and late 2018, which is late in the decade, and it is easily top 3 for me. I could make an argument to bring it higher.
Okay. All right, well, I mean, I haven't played it. It looks nice. I had less interest in Grand Theft Auto 5, but they kind of burned me with San Andreas. Like that one just seemed too much and too tedious. It's like, oh, you got to go pick up packages and
hey guys,
and
you're going to be tempted to write emails to Adam, cursing him, as I don't know that he's aware that Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is probably the most It's like the Ocarina of Time of Grand Theft Autos. Don't write emails to Adam. He's perfectly entitled to think it's tedious.
It's opinion. If you loved it, great, love it. But
we're not going to read the delete button. The delete button on my email is worn off. Like the trash can icon is not even there. It's like pieces of it because I click it so much.
I played through about half of it. Okay, and then I couldn't keep getting into what was going on in that. So
the thing for me about Grand Theft Auto games in general, yes, there's a lot of detail. Yes, there's a lot of immersion, and it's huge worlds. But it's the fact that when Rockstar gives you mission types for the age that the game that they're talking about came out, the mission types, it's not fetch quest, go eradicate quest. There's a lot to the mission types that they give you in the span of what they do. But having said that, downfall of Rockstar, you got to be fucking out your mind. Like, there's no way. Like, one of our friends despises Grand Theft Auto as a series, and he's a big gamer. And ask him where Rockstar's going. Rockstar ain't going nowhere. Rockstar is like the most profitable video game company out, period, off of 2 games in the past 7 years. Hands
the
down.
fact that they continue to make that kind of money off of a game that's that old. I mean, granted, they continue to have like DLC for it too, right? Like
updates all the. I mean, Grand Theft Auto Online might as well be an MMO now. Like, might as well be in that level, like where they continuously have, hey, there's the heists update, and they have updates in it consistently where the world changes.
Are they paid though? Like, are people paying money, or are they just added? Okay,
no,
so they're just
theoretically, if you wanted to, if you bought Grand Theft Auto 5 on sale on PSN for like $15, you could play Grand Theft Auto Online for free for the rest of your life. You may not, like, it's repetitive enough, and they give you such little rewards in the opening, like in the progression, that you eventually will have to acquiesce.
Grand Theft Auto 5 is $29.99 on Steam right now.
So for that $30, you literally could play for free and be up to date. Like, all the content that comes out is up to date. The only thing is, some of the content, like, in order for you to do a heist, you have to have this specific type of hideout, these specific type of vehicles, and a vehicle might cost like $2 million. And then you go do a drug run at the beginning, and they give you $200, and you're like, fuck, what the, even one of the highest end missions in the first few things that you can do, you're going to get 20 grand, and it's a mission that might take you 20, 30 minutes to do. So you have to do it repeatedly. And there are tiers. There's tiers for how you progress in the game. And that's fine.
And that's what the shark cards are for, is to kind of unlock. Yeah,
the shark cards will get you, like, you pay a certain amount, and it gives you a shark card that's worth $10 million or $1 million or whatever it is. However, just this month, if you sign on and you play Grand Theft Auto Online, you instantly, like, I didn't even play. I just turned it on and I got a thing that said, hey, here's 500 grand for your account or whatever. Again, that's not enough to do anything significant. You still have to put a lot of time into the game. But I think that's the point, right? Like, you could go in and do races for hours on end.
It's the same point you get with any online game, is that, if you play online, like, you have to, the more time you put in, the more rewards you get. And you can get that through, like an online RPG like Final Fantasy Online or World of Warcraft or Guild Wars or whatever.
Like, I played WoW with you for 6 months, never once bought any kind of, like, currency. And I killed more of the same enemy than I'd like to remember. But it was fun because it's like, okay, Adam, you're on? Okay, I'll jump on with you and we'll do the thing. And it's fun.
But I mean, even then, like StarCraft is another one. Just or probably League of Legends and whatever. They're like, the more you play, you get into like a competitive tier, and when at the end of a month, once the whatever is over, you get rewards for that competitive tier. So you get your stuff, points or coins to buy packs or unlock characters, and that allows you to play the game more or play it better or do whatever. So I mean, like, there's places for that. So, well, I mean, even in like Battlefront 2, the more you play, the more you unlock. And Overwatch as well, I think. The more you play, the more you unlock crates, and then you can get skins or voice emotes or, access to newer and better stuff. And like, sometimes it's only cosmetic and sometimes it's an upgrade. I think in Battlefront 2, there's weapon cards or something cards or whatever.
I think most of the upgrades that you get through in Battlefront 2 through the loot boxes are all cosmetic now.
So it's not like you need to find this thing for Luke Skywalker so that when you do play as Luke Skywalker, he works better.
No, you level up your classes purely by playing. Okay. So the more that you use an officer class, the more that will level up. Which is fine. It's fine. The game was fine before. The game is fine now. It is what it is. There is an argument to be made that pay to win versus pay to customize. Like, nobody online, you're not like, unless you're telling me that you are part of Overwatch League or, MLG or something like that. Yeah, it sucks if somebody hits you with a grenade, and how are you going to know? How are you going to know that they bought that grenade last week and paid $100 for it? And if they paid $100 of their money to get a grenade, joke's on them. It's a fucking digital grenade. Like, whoopee. I mean, seriously.
Did you ever see Ready Player One?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, like, there's, like, people hoard all their items. And then, like, someone uses, what was it that he got at the end? Like, was it the Gundam or something? Like,
it was.
He put on the suit, or was it Voltron or something?
If I had to guess, I would say it was a Gundam, but I don't remember.
Okay. But yeah, they hoard their items, and it's like, oh, it took me forever of playing to find this and whatever. Anyway, let's get back to our topic of choice for today, which is people hating on stuff for just the sake of hating it.
Yeah, and you know what? Another thing that causes people to hate on companies is their lust for money. Which
like if they get paid to say something shitty?
No, I'm saying just not the haters. I'm talking about the hater going, look at this company making money. Now there are limits. There are limits where you can get to a little.
I said also exists.
That is true, but there are limits, as in, like, fuck GameStop. That's
Yeah.
a level of greed that you're like, oh, come on, man. But
Yeah.
but yeah, there are people who are content creators who come into a situation and they're like, oh, give me money and I say bad about this thing, and yeah, this thing sucks. And so
Money, please.
and you know what? It may not be like a direct money thing. It could also be partly clickbait, because going back to that video that said the fall of Rockstar is such a
Yeah.
behemoth that if you wrote, I have evidence of if that's the implication, that you're going to tell me something that tells me what nobody else knows, that Rockstar is doomed. And so I have to click on this video to find out. It's enticing people to click, which gives you money. And so I guess that's the whole point with content creators. But the idea that a company is bad because they want to make money is laughable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you might as well hate capitalism and America and
Well, just the whole concept.
Well, I mean, yeah, because I mean, like, if a person's gonna make a movie, a video game, a comic book, a blog, a podcast that's just a couple of friends talking and bullshitting about stuff that they talk about, like, if they're gonna hate on that for anybody, just the fact that, like, they're putting it out there to, like, maybe get something back at it or whatever, like, even if it's just like, sometimes people want to get paid for doing the thing that they love so that they can continue to do the thing that they love and make money at it. So if people are enjoying,
I have to use
like,
my words carefully here. Like, I was going to say work without pay, but no, it's voluntary work without pay is a hobby. Like what we do here on this podcast, we're not making a nickel off of this thing. And we just like, shooting the breeze. So we're talking about shit. Mm-hmm. So it's a hobby for us. It's a thing that we do. Yeah. You'll notice that we haven't done an episode in a while. That's because, we got work and bills and shit. And also,
and the world is ending.
Yeah, the apocalypse. I mean, come on. But if somebody was to say, like, you know what, I'd like to render services of entertainment.
There's a fire demon outside my window right now trying to get in. But I told him I have the cough, and he's not.
Yeah, he's not coming in. Heard the cough,
like,
and he was like, yeah, no, I gotta.
Which I don't have the cough.
I gotta go to work tomorrow, and if I have symptoms, they're not gonna let me in. But yeah, like, if a company wasn't, you know what? Name an independent company that if they had to put their game out for free and just all their hours was like for nothing, you wouldn't have seen half the indie games that you love. Like Bastion, that shit wouldn't have come out if it was, we'll just give it out for free. It's a good experience. You wouldn't see any of these games.
No.
And now some companies,
anywhere we're at now,
some companies take it too far. And some companies, like, optics is still a thing. So, there are some companies that do, like the whole thing that happened with Hideo Kojima and Konami, with Metal Gear. But at the end of the day, the company is, if Nintendo wanted to, become a potato chip company tomorrow, that's their right. They can do that. And if they think they can make more money and satisfy their shareholders with whatever decision they make, that's the decision. We expect them not to be, like, immoral about it or asshole about it, but, we put stuff in the game because it cost us this much to make the game, and it costs much more to produce the game than it did when in the PS2 era, so we need to make more money. That's business.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I think even there was a conversation that we had on our own a couple of days ago where it was like, would it be worth making the game itself cost more to alleviate the stress of, like, all these, like, micro purchases that happen in games now, like the loot crates or whatever. Like, so instead of a game being $60, like, make it be $80 or $100, but, like, then you can take out the necessity for these like other systems where the company feels they need to make money by having like, oh, like once you're in game you can continue to purchase stuff and like, you know, we can make some money even after the money we've made off of selling the game. Like, would it be worth that give and take, you know?
Yeah.
Was that you that I was talking about that with, or I'm pretty sure I don't talk to anybody else.
So. We talked about it a few times, and yeah, you're the only one I talked to about this shit. But like, yeah, there are tons of different revenue streams and business models for games, for movies, for TV shows, for streaming things, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And here's an example. Up until yesterday, like I had let my YouTube Premium elapse, and it canceled midnight last night. And this is my first world story. And so normally I I do my YouTube Premium subscription right on my iPhone, and it like a lot of companies charge you more when you do it directly on the iPhone, because they have to share revenue. I don't know if they do it on Google also. Like when you do it directly on there, YouTube probably wouldn't because it's Google. But like when you do it directly on there, the company has to pay like Apple or Google or whoever a cut. So they mark it up. Well, I woke up this morning and part of my morning routine is I put on a random video while I'm making breakfast or I'm walking my dogs or whatever. And that keeps my brain occupied so that I'm not thinking evil things. And so,
well, it's the crank turner,
yeah,
right? Like it turns the crank on the engine to like get cognitive thought going.
Yeah, so I turn on the video, and there's this 5-minute ad that starts up right away with no skip on it, and I'm like, nope. Closed the video out, went right to the Google website, and I was like, yo, give me my fucking premium back. I can't sit here through a fucking ad for like, you know, whatever, like school or some whatever it was, I don't know, a car or something. I'm not doing it. And
I'm dreading later this year because it happens around election time when you get ads for senators and the president and, you know, whoever, and they advertise on YouTube and they're not skippable.
Yeah.
So like you've had like 5 or 6 of these ads like in a row, and you're like, I will never vote for you. It's like you've ruined. I just wanted to watch this video about puppies. It's like in here giving me an 8-minute speach on why you need.
I wanted to see the original Alfredo
that I don't even live in. I don't even live there. And you're making me watch your video. Who are you? So
yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
You know, here's a trick. Now, I don't watch ads because I do the YouTube Premium. Like, I'll watch ads on Hulu, but those are regular TV ads. Those are the ads that you're used to since I was 5. So those, like, I zone them out. Like, that 2 minutes goes by so fast for me. But YouTube ads are a little more like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just old and I'm not used to those ads. But if I was to have to watch ads, I would only watch the ads for the things that I don't like, that I know I'm not going to buy. And it's just my little bit of trolling. Like, I know it only costs you like a half of a quarter of a tenth of a cent. But you had to pay it.
But you're making them spend that money.
Yeah. Oh, there's a politician I don't like? Yeah, I'm watching your whole ad. Let it play. I'm going to lower the volume on my phone too. Like, just put it face down. Let me know. Set a timer. Yeah. How long is the ad? 2 minutes? Let me get a 2-minute timer. And then, oh yeah, what was the video I wanted to watch? Oh shit, you know what sucks is like if you forget, then the video's halfway done, and then when you rewind,
it starts over.
You get another ad. Oh man. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, but I think the moral here is stop hating on shit. Like unless you've experienced it and you have, again, Warcraft 3, if you bought that game and you were excited to play it on day one, we all love playing games day one when they first come out. We're excited and it doesn't let you play. then yeah, be mad.
Yeah.
If you bought Assassin's Creed Unity in what was it, 2015 or whatever, and you start a mission and all of a sudden some dude, his head gets stuck to a ceiling and his whole polygon thing stretches against the map and you can't move no more, and it takes you completely out of the game. Yeah, be mad. Don't be mad to the point where it's like, you know what? Ubisoft should go bankrupt. Or, Blizzard. Yeah, fuck Blizzard. No, stick with the fuck GameStop because we know they suck. And just be mad. Be mad.
Yeah.
Give them an opportunity to fix it. It's a game or whatever. And then it's fixed. And then you're good. And then you play it. And, your initial experience is ruined. Stay angry about that. Write it in your memoir. Dedicate a chapter to it. That time I was defeated in the Orc campaign 2 seconds after it started.
Yeah. And I would also say this. Being any kind of comment or response or whatever, this game is the worst. It sucks. I can't believe I bought it. You should be ashamed of yourselves. And then sending that to a developer or another player or what, who is that helping? Hey, I was playing the game and on this mission, this did this, and I cannot seem to get it to not do this. I know this isn't working as intended because, it won't let me play the game anymore. Someone should take a look at this. Quality assurance. Quality assurance should be the best friend of developers and whatever, because it would stop a lot of this just general hate. But I don't know. There's markets in available for lots of different things for games. But if constructive criticism, let them know what is wrong as opposed to just something's wrong, because you've played this game for all of 15 minutes and you're like, this game is the worst game ever, but they've spent the last 4 years working on this shit. Maybe they want to know, I'm sorry, which grain of sand in this ocean is not right. So we can fix it properly, because we don't see it. We're looking, which we really want to help, but
well,
it's like if you call 911 and they're like, all right, sir, what's your location? Click. Okay, we know you're being chased by a dude with a knife. We don't know where you're at. We gotta
something's
know where
wrong.
You're going.
Well, I think that wraps it up. We've covered all the fun stuff.
It was a productive conversation.
We ranted a bit, raved. I am Jeff.
And any conversation that has just a little bit of Star Wars in it is a good conversation.
Yeah, it's always going to be a good conversation.
So
I'm Jeff, Zeus N, letter N, Jeff, on Twitter, Zeus and Jeff. I did the afterwards. It's supposed to be before, but you know what I meant.
Right. And I am Adam. You can find me on Instagram only, Tatooine Hermit. And you can follow me there. I usually post on there about interesting things that have either happened on here or in life, or I've done something interesting. So, or just I'm, loving on family. That's a thing too.
True. So, we started this. We started this bidding war. I don't know if I told you, we had a bidding war last week. We wanted an email address, and Lycos showed up, Hotmail, CompuServe, all of them guys. And the winner was Yahoo! Exclamation point. So if you go to End of a Species at Yahoo. Yeah, with the
old ads.
The old joint.
Those commercials.
But if you go...
I think is owned by Verizon now.
Possibly. I think so.
I think Verizon.
If you send an email to endofaspecies at yahoo.com, I'm looking for the following. Do you want us to talk about haters in music? Haters in movies? We kind of touched on haters in movies. What topic do you want to see us rant on? Because, we like ranting.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah. So we have a corporate email now. That's interesting.
Yeah, we sold out.
No, you did not talk. You did not talk to me about this.
Yeah, the bidding war was fierce. It was pretty bad. Some people lost an eye.
CompuServe. We didn't get an @AOL one. That's too
bad. We didn't get an ICQ username.
Yeah.
Well, this has been the. Oh, go ahead.
This has been the End of a Species podcast. I'm sorry, I didn't want to step on.
No, you're good.
We would ask you to like and subscribe. It would be a good part on us and let us know what we're doing, and let us know that you appreciate our content. Please press the thumbs up button and then press the little bell on the side, and you can it'll let you know when we next post a video, which could be a while. We're not sure yet. We don't even know when our next video is. So, anyway, guys. So, Jeff, it's been a pleasure on our Discord.
Yeah,
talking thing. We'll probably. Well, I mean, as long as it doesn't collapse, we'll get another one of these done soon enough.
Here's hoping.
So, here's hoping. It could happen at any time, though. But peace out, guys. We appreciate you listening.